And here we go. We're going to give it just a minute. Looks like everything is working. Looks like we have our first viewer. Welcome. We're going to give folks a few minutes to trickle in. Sounds like the beginning of a Zoom meeting. Let's wait for everyone to join, then we can start the meeting. But we are on episode 3. Episode 3 of the live streaming series. We're in a good spot. Worked on housing a bit in the last episode. Decided that we want to expand our food production quite a bit. And we did do that actually. So we have all of these up here. We've been working on getting that. So we are on episode 3 of the live streaming series. We just started cycle 5. We're on day 2. Well, it's going to be day 3 here in 1 second. There we go. So let's do a little bit of a recap of the last episode. Last episode, we had finished episode 1 before. We got some more water pumpers. And then the big thing I think was getting our production. It was getting up to speed. We now have 2 smelters. And then we actually have some engines. And then the food side of things, we added this entire area up here. And then what else did we do? We added some hydroponic gardens. So these are working now. Producing some mushrooms. Looks like this one is 73% done. You'll get 45 mushrooms out of that. This one's 71% done. And so we'll need to get some storage set up for these. We did expand our storage in the last episode as well. And so I think right off the bat, let's get, should we get a large warehouse? Because this can hold 200. I think we're just going to go full send for our storage needs. Make everything large. Make sure we get that set to, well, we don't need it set to fermented. It'd be nice just to have some extra mushroom storage. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to get another one set up, and we'll have this one set to fermented mushrooms. Because we want to make sure that they can actually store the mushrooms in here. Because we actually don't have a fermenter up and running yet. So let's get this working. We'll have this set to fermented mushrooms. And then let's make sure we bump this up on the priority list. And then bump both of these up as well. Because we have some buildings over here. This is just a medium warehouse. And then we also have a large barracks on top of it. Plus we have another one of the rooftop terraces. And then we have this paused. We currently have 9 vacant jobs. We do have 11 children, and I think that we should have some of them growing up soon. So we have 11 kids. Let's go to the very bottom, starting to rack up the beavers. We have, okay, looks like most of them are between 40 and 60% grown up, so it's gonna hit like a brick when all of those kids start growing up. But I do want to add even more, and I think that's in housing. Yeah. So let's add 2 more. No, we'll add 3 more, and then we'll pause this one once they build it. And so it's going to be a lot of food that we're going to need in order to feed all these beavers. That's part of why we got some of these crops planted. But we don't have all the infrastructure in order to process this food at the moment. So we'll need to make sure we have that. And we can also start filling in some more of these gaps. And I think these are soybeans. So let's do that. Then we can get some corn down here. And then thankfully they can reach everything up top. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. We have just begun. But there's a lot that we need to do in today's episode, focusing on expanding our colony, getting more food and water for the beavers. Those are kind of the big priorities right now. So we'll also need to get some more water storage set up. Looks like we do have a large water storage placed down right here. They're working on the platforms first. And then I have a spot to do some irrigation and then probably transfer one of these farmhouses over here. That way we can make sure that this area is not dependent on the river for water. Because eventually we're going to have longer droughts and it's going to evaporate, and we'll need to make sure that we can still irrigate this whole area. We are still short on beavers. We have several jobs around here that are paused. We're doing decent on planks and gears, metal blocks as well. What about bad water? We are pumping bad water. We'll get some stored up before we turn this on. Yeah, 10 vacant jobs. I assume we're having some beavers hop in and out. Okay, I thought there'd be more beavers in the medical beds. Apparently not, which is, it's not bad. It's not bad that we don't have them in there. Looks like we do have this guy up and running with fermented mushrooms, but nope. Yeah, we're not quite there. So this takes 192 hours. It's a lot of days. So we can actually pause this guy for now. So we can start to speed things up. We also need to think about the food processing. Probably need to add some more over here. So having one explosives factory is fine for now. We have 3 lumber mills. One of them's over here. I imagine I'll keep these 2 as kind of I don't know how you describe it. Basically, if we have like a desperate need for for planks or gears, we can always turn these 2 on. We don't necessarily need them over here right now. I will have to make a much bigger workspace for mass production, but we're trying to fit in the space that we can right now. Going over here would not be a bad idea, especially once we get tube ways and tube stations. That's going to help a lot. I would really like to get those, but it costs a bit of resources. 700 science, and then 500 science, and plus another 600 science for the vertical tubeways, which we would need those. Yeah, and then metal blocks, gears, and planks, and then just metal blocks and planks. Thankfully, we have access to a mine right here, so getting that added won't be too difficult. The main thing will be getting all the resources and the science in order to actually place that down. We have more scrap metal over here, and then we have a lot of scrap metal over here. Is there another mine on the map? I would imagine there is. Yeah. Right around the corner. Super small amount of scrap metal, and then also the mine. I think this should last us for a while, and then I think the next thing would be to go here, and then in the meantime start building up our resources to get the mine placed down. "12 children. Okay, they have not started building these. Let's bump 2 of those up. Highest priority. They have been working on this. Unfortunately, we only have 4 workers in here. Probably should rearrange the jobs a little bit. We don't have a lot of scrap metal, so we're not going to pause any of these guys. 6 hauling post employees. We don't really want to pause those. We can reduce it by a couple. Okay, these guys are mainly planting, so we can actually reduce that to 1. This guy... he should be getting... okay, yeah, he's getting some of these. We have a good amount of housing, which is excellent. No homeless beavers. Looks like they're getting this constructed. How are we doing? Oh, we are running low on berries. We need to unpause that. Very short on workers right now. We have 1,000 water. We can probably pause a couple of these guys, because they're going to start filling up these 2 water tanks. But getting some water storage closer is going to be nice, especially once we get this large one constructed. So focusing on the food production, I think that's that is the main thing right now, because we are working on the storage. Well, yeah, we're working on the storage because we're getting this set up for the raw mushrooms, and then we'll have this for the fermented mushrooms. Really, we want to have this one constructed first because we need to get the raw mushrooms out of here before they can actually start producing more mushrooms. So this will be at 100% very shortly, or 0%, I guess. Yeah, so now we're stuck. We are filled up on mushrooms. This guy can't, like, he's just sitting around, so we're not actually making any more mushrooms. So we need to be able to clear this out before we can start getting more stuff done, because the day ended, so he's gone. So we want this to get finished ASAP. And now we only have 1 vacancy. So we had a bunch of kids grow up, I believe. Yeah, day 5, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 beavers grew up, which is excellent. So we can unpause this, get some more workers. I want to get some of the stuff built first, and then we can probably shift them around. Now we have 16 kids. That is so many. And we still have 1, 2, 3, 4 who are going to grow up probably next day or two, which is excellent. Oh, we need to unpause this fermenter so he can start fermenting the mushrooms. So this guy, he's chopping the trees down. This guy's sitting around. We can have him fill in some of these crops. And we'll just have 2 trees left. We'll be able to get those soon. Getting dynamite will be nice to have. In fact, I'm going to want to do that because I want to get more storage over here. And they'll probably expand in this direction over top the Badwater stream. So let's unpause this and unpause this. We'll need to make some storage for him. We're going to do a small little storage right here. Oh, that's the wrong building. Small little warehouse. And then we'll make sure we have that set to dynamite. Can hold 30. Since it's only 3 wood, we're going to bump that up a little bit. In fact, we need to bump it up higher since the way that it works is it goes in terms of priority. But then if there's 2 buildings of the same priority, whichever one was placed down first, then that one is constructed first. So now this is highest. I think that it should be constructed since they just finished this large warehouse. And this guy is out of range of all the trees, so we don't need him anymore. Then we can get those last 2 wool crops planted. And so in terms of what are we going to use the dynamite for, 600 science, since we're producing dynamite now. Or we should be. Looks like he was just collecting water, or bad water first. Before I unlock dynamite, let's see if there's anything else that I want to unlock. Storage we're good on. Yeah, we don't need any more for housing. Floodgates, we don't need those yet. Food. We do have the canola, because we'll need to process that into canola oil, 120 science. Then we'll have corn. We have corn and soybeans. Soybeans go into the fermenter. That requires canola. We could process those. That's probably not a bad idea. Start getting that up and running. We're going to do that. We're going to unlock the oil press, 120 science. And then we're going to have to figure out how we can fit all this stuff, because we're a little bit limited in space at the moment. And we do have the double platform as well. We could fit one right here, but I don't think that's the best spot. Fit a couple of those. I'll probably place 2 down, but pause one of them. And then what else? Because we'll need another fermenter for the soybeans. Can probably remove those. We're doing better on berries. I think this should be enough berries. We'll see. If not, we can add more. But I think this should be fine. And we also have berries up here, so we can always just collect those kind of as a last resort. But I think this space will be helpful. So we'll need more storage, and we need to actually produce stuff. So that canola oil, we'll have that right here. We'll have the path going this way, and then I'll have a second oil press because I've run out of canola oil a lot of times. But we're going to pause this because we don't need it. And I'm pausing this one because if we pause this one, there's a chance that a building I place next to it would not be able to connect into this power system. And we don't want that. Another reason getting dynamite would be helpful is so I can start making some underground connection points. And the engines actually have a connection point at the very bottom in the middle, which I didn't realize that until a few months ago. And we're already back up to 600 science, so we really could unlock the dynamite. The food factory, it only gives us the benefit of corn, and we will need that. But right now, using the canola that we're going to be growing over here, and I gotta fill that one spot in. The canola over here, plus these soybeans. Ooh. Were we never able to grow these? We must not be. Dang. Well, I guess we can unmark these to be planted. That's fine. It's still a pretty good size that this one little pond over here irrigates. So we have the oil press. Let's get something else, another fermenter. How do I want to place it though? We could go right here, or we could go right here, get another one right behind it. I'm kind of leaning towards that. Then we'll just do a little power shaft right behind. And then we could fit something else right behind it if needed, but I don't think we necessarily need that right now. And then we have, looks like they did construct this. What do we want to set that to? We already have the mushrooms. We'll save this one for now. We'll just have it store whatever we need it to store. Food, we have just under 1,000. Well, also, it looks like we did construct this large tank, so now we're doing pretty good in water. 1.3 thousand water at the moment. And that's good because these guys can use quite a bit. And then we have the mushrooms they produce going into the fermenter. How many raw mushrooms? 28. It's not a whole lot, and they've eaten it all. And this is only 20% done. I think we need to make even more of these not fermenters, more of these hydroponic gardens. So let's do that. We can add a few platforms. Oh, there's a tree right there. Well, this is probably a good time to start getting some overhangs. How much does that cost? 350 science. That's a pretty penny. Getting this before we get dynamite. We'll get dynamite, or we'll get enough science for dynamite pretty soon, but I think we should prioritize this. Hydroponic garden. We'll need to get 2 more. And then let's do this. We'll actually get some storage over here. Utilize that. We'll have some regular mushroom storage. That way they can just toss it out. Does that make sense? I think it does. We'll just leave that for now. This is kind of not a priority. Well, I guess they're working on it already. Okay, this guy's sitting around. How close is the canola? It is almost there. We have 10 vacant jobs, so we're gonna pause this for now. We do need to get some storage for the canola oil. It gets all, like the canola's here, then it has to go all the way over here. Ooh, this guy, fermented soybeans, but we don't have enough workers, so we'll leave that. We are starting to produce some explosives. It's starting to fill up, which is good news. So we should get some storage set up for the canola. And we'll need to make sure we use a small tank. I feel like the medium tank makes sense. But it needs to be close enough that it's convenient. Let's do this. Well, I would like to place it here, but I feel like we could utilize connecting this in to the whole system. Also, this producing enough power. Oh, I guess we just have one of these buildings up and running at the moment. We are running low on planks and gears now, which is not great. Bad water, we're basically maxed out on. Pause this. We're going to unpause this. Throw a couple beavers in there. This guy's sitting around. Drop that by 2 because we need more gears as well. Unpause this. Let's work on production a little bit. And then we're going through a good amount of berries. 138. We'll be in a good spot. And then let's see. Looks like all of these are pretty freshly picked. So it's going to be probably 7 days would be my guess before it's ready for more. But there's still a good amount of berries he needs to pick first. So we have some of the food stuff that is ready for processing. We'll just need to get some storage for it. So I'm just going to place one right here. Maybe we move it down the road, but for now this is a good spot. And we don't even necessarily need the storage because we'll use the canola oil with the soybeans to make fermented soybeans. But then we need to make sure we have storage for that. And so I think I want to expand my storage in this direction. And so let's start by getting some platforms over here. It looks like we do have a drought approaching. Not a bad tide, but I do need to start thinking about how I'm going to handle that bad tide. It looks like we have a few of you guys here. In the last episode, I decided that I wanted to divert the bad water up above here and go over top and then all the way down here, instead of putting in a bunch of the irrigation barriers to try and block the bad water effects from spilling in. In the end, we still will need some irrigation barriers along the top, specifically when you get over near these trees. So, and we actually should unpause this. We have 2 vacant jobs, but 15 children, which is good news. Oh, we don't have a way for these beavers to get to their house. Let's change that. And then we also need to make sure we have these set to mushrooms. We'll have both of those there. We are starting to go up in food, which is good. Water, we're doing fantastic, 1.7 thousand. And then resources, we still have no gears, and planks are pretty low because we're building a lot of stuff. So that kind of makes sense. Let's prioritize this. Let's bump up the amount of haulers. We need to make sure that all the engines are prioritized. And we are working on rapidly expanding our beaver population. We're actually going to be running low on houses soon, so we need to make sure we have some more houses available to them. And what we're going to do, we're going to remove these 3 crops and then get a house right here. Let's make sure we bump that up on the priority list because we can fit a large barracks. And then we could put some more up above here. Can we fit? Sweet. So we can. But how do we get them up here? A little bit of a mess getting over there. We could use overhangs over here, but those cost a bit of science and we're not really doing great on science right now. So just building stuff on the ground is much more cost effective at the moment. Hello, Jay Sean. Do you know how to make the water go up to the Badwater River? I'm assuming, do you mean how am I going to get the bad water up over here and then going along the top? Because if that's what you're asking, then what I want to do, first I'll need to block this off, and then I'm going to have a secondary system where we have sluices, and they'll close when it detects bad water, and then that's going to start backing it up, and then we'll have carved out a channel for the bad water. So that's what my plan is. And we might even make that system a little bit taller than this. So we do need to start making our way over here. And fortunately, we're actually fairly close. If we remove this, I don't know if we needed to do that exactly, but we'll go platform, platform. You know, it is good that we did that, because then we can go platforms across, because there will be bad water coming through here at some point. And then I'll remove this if we have a Badtide. You know, I'm probably going to forget. We're just going to remove this right now. And then we can build platform across, but lowest priority, we don't need this because we already have another way across right now. And we'll connect it in with paths. But so we'll have them come over here, and then we'll need to get some foresters And then we'll have a pile to store all that wood. And then let's mark all these trees to be chopped down. And then we'll have a forester. And he'll be able to start working on that once they construct all this stuff. Hello everyone, looks like we had a few more people join the stream. This is episode 3 of our live streaming series. We have 1 day until we have a drought. We are nearing the end of cycle 5, which means that I suspect a Badtide is going to be approaching in the next 1 or 2 seasons. So we got to start working on that. Thankfully, we're in a good spot, I think, because the first Badtide coming through is going to be pretty quick. And so I don't think it's the biggest issue if we're not ready by then, which I don't think we will be, assuming it's next cycle. Jay Sean, you said, I think you can divert the water 2 or 3 blocks above the source and shoot it off the map. Yeah, I could. Oh, was it only 2 or 3 blocks off the source? I assumed that the water or bad water couldn't flow over top this and it needed to be sideways. If it can go over top, then that would make it a lot easier. I don't know. I know that you could technically just like go backwards, but like for me personally, it feels a bit like cheating, even though I know that it's in the game and you can do it. So like if someone else were to do it, I wouldn't say that they're cheating per se, but I feel like it's more in the spirit of the game trying to divert it somewhere versus just like right off the map. But that's just me personally. What do you guys think? When you guys deal with bad water, do you just spit it right off the map when it comes in, or do you try and figure out a different way to divert it? I guess it also depends on the water source. Because if it's not on the side of the map and if it's like in the middle, then you don't really have that option. And then holy crops. We have so many crops that we can start harvesting. Let's bump that up to 2. We have 6 vacant jobs, 4 incapacitated beavers, a lot of children. So they're going to need to start doing stuff very soon. We have plenty of jobs that we can toss them into. We have 25 vacant beds. Oh, it's because we actually connected this in, that's why. Because we did not have these platforms and we had built this large barracks but didn't have access to it. We also are going to make another large barracks and it's not going to face that way. And so then that's going to be another 16 beavers. We're in a great spot. But the drought has started. Let's pause all of our water pumpers. Hello, Sand Artist. Welcome. Am I still going to build a water reservoir? Yes, I am. Yeah, I would like to build one right here. And so we'll need a place. I guess there's different ways that you can do it now. Floodgates or sluices are options. We would probably go right over here. Because if we did sluices on the bottom, and then we had it set to open if the water level drops below a certain depth, then that would just basically autofill the river, which would be not a bad way to do it. And I'm kind of liking that, but that is going to be a good amount of science. 400, that's actually not too bad. And then we'll use the sluices over here. There's so many things that we need to do. It would be very nice if we could get enough science for the number cruncher, because that is 10 science per hour versus one of these inventor's huts is 1 science per hour, and it requires a beaver, and they don't work at night. This works 24/7 as long as it has power. Ooh, we have some unemployed beavers. Excellent. Unpause this. Unpause this. And this and this. Oh, we need to connect that in. Then we'll get another fermenter set up. Sand artist, you said if there's only one source, you divert it so they can set up bad water production. If there's more than one, you throw it right off the edge. Doing a hangover diversion. I've not heard of a hangover diversion. I assume that's where it goes up and then back over the top. Looks like we do have a lumberjack flag now, so he's starting to chop some of these trees down. We're doing okay on wood. We only have 300. We have lots of trees. Oh, this guy's, he's not doing too hot. Okay. Taking a quick step back. So we have a 6-day drought. Slow things down just for a minute. 1.6 thousand water, that's good. Wood is actually a little bit lower than I would like. So we should probably look at getting some more foresters established. Realistically, we'll need to artificially irrigate some areas so that we can plant more trees. Because I don't really want to be having everything around this river, and then in the event we don't have the diversion system up and running, then it could kill a lot of stuff. And I am still worried about these trees with the bad water diversion going over here. So that's not great, especially considering how these trees are all oak trees and not birch trees, like these ones, because the bad water effects will spread in over time. We can pause this and this. Oh, we probably have a lot of unemployed beavers. All this paused. Looks like we're pretty even. How are we doing scrap metal? 42. It's not bad. Let's get a couple more haulers. One vacant job. Okay, we have some hungry beavers. Oh, I never ended up pausing this. We're going to pause these two. We're still drastically increasing our beaver population. We have 35 vacant beds. Okay, I got sidetracked. I can't remember what I was going to say. But anyways, oh yeah, it was about the number cruncher. I think that focusing on that would be good because it, A, frees up some jobs, and then B, we would get a lot more science. And then we don't have to be worried about unlocking stuff in a certain order, since we'd have a lot more science that we could play with. So, that being said, we need to have a space for us to actually place down another engine and then also place down a number cruncher. And we already have a system over here. If we do paths in this direction, we could go underneath. We would just need to unlock the vertical power shaft, go this way. I think for now, if we do an engine right here, because realistically we need to have 2 engines connected into it, otherwise it's running at 80% efficiency. Looks like this one, okay, so this one is producing just enough, but if we unpause these 2 buildings, then we would need to have more. So if we have another engine connected to this system, and then we have an engine and the number cruncher on another system, and then connect all those in, 3 engines feeding basically these 2 power systems, that should be enough. So let's start working on that. Let's do a preliminary layout. We'll need to have a bunch of platforms. We're going to be kind of playing around with this. Number cruncher. Oh, we don't have enough science to unlock it. Well, we can start working on it. If we go over one more, I'll probably end up rearranging a bunch of this. Ooh, an engine, if that's right on top. $40 science set is nothing. We can do this. And then we can do another engine. And then once we get dynamite, we can blast this out, go up, connect in, or go connect in the back, so we have a little bit of space for another building if needed. And then we can fit the number cruncher. Wait, is that right? Can we fit the number cruncher in here? We might need to move it over one more. Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so we'll put that in. This one we don't need. We can pause that for now. And then we don't actually need all of these. Move those. Don't need this one yet. Lower these on the priority list since we're waiting to get the science in order to unlock the number cruncher. I guess we can do that, but just lower it on the priority list. If they have stuff they need to work on, they can always work on it. We do have canola oil that's being produced. We do have fermented soybeans that are being produced. We do have corn, which we don't have the food factory up and running yet. Okay, I think we have a good plan of attack. Getting that number cruncher, it's going to be very helpful, because then we can start unlocking like dynamite, the food factory, and then I haven't even talked about bots yet, but getting bots will be very helpful. But that all requires a bunch of power and a bunch of science and a bunch of resources. Oh yeah, one thing I did mention very recently was the trees. Since we're running a little bit short on wood, 200, basically 300 wood. Oh my gosh, we have so many unemployed beavers. Okay, we're just gonna add a bunch of those. What else? We will unpause these, so they'll be working on stuff. But what we could do, we can start chopping those trees down, because we're going to flood this area at some point. So let's do this. We already have a nice little crossing laid out for us. This is very far away, unfortunately. But somewhere else that we could get some trees up here is kind of an obvious choice in my eyes. And man, having some tube ways, that'd be something else to focus on. But we're going to get this number cruncher. That's going to be constructed. We're going to get a lot of science. And then we're going to need a lot of planks and metal blocks. So planks, we'll need wood. And obviously lumber mills, and the metal blocks we have 2 smelters, but we have left this one paused since we do have some scrap metal, but we haven't really been dying for metal blocks yet. So I'm leaving that right now. So I think that we should have another forest up here, which means irrigation pond, get one up top, and then just start filling in the trees. And then yeah, once we have those tubeways and two-way stations, that'd be so much easier to get up here quickly. Same with over here, but this is all kind of a temporary situation. Like, we're chopping the trees down, you know, building the lumberjack flags. We're gonna excavate over here, but we're not gonna be setting up shop for anything over here yet. Maybe down the road we do for like bad water processing, but up here, if we have a tree farm, then we're gonna need to get up here pretty consistently. So let's figure out where we want to have that tree farm. Ideally, I want it above, because I don't think the water spreads quite as far if it goes uphill versus going downhill, which is not great. I mean, ideally we fill this in, except for a 3x3 grid, and then we start planting trees. But I don't know if we exactly could do that. Because yeah, getting a dirt excavator, 2,000 science, and then another 1,000 for the train blocks. So we're gonna start getting a little grid going up in wood, which is good news. Need to get over here. Basically try and make it as direct of a path as possible. Oh my gosh, so many beavers were unemployed. Before we do anything, let's get some more, let's max this out, and let's get some more builder's huts. And then we'll probably need to get another hauling post. So let's start with this. High prioritize it, and then we'll get some stairs down here. And then we can start pausing some of these breeding pods. Yes, we have 9. I think 9 should be fine. And then we can unpause 5 of them if needed. I guess we can just toss him in there. We have lots of cassavas. Might as well give this guy to work. We have enough power in order to run it, so that's fine. Looks like this one is working. They're working on this now. We're doing okay on planks. 73. Gears we have more than 0, so that's good. We do have this over here. I do want to get some more storage. What do I want to store though? I mean, obviously all the food. Oh, we're maxed out on explosives. We can pause this guy. Oh, this is what we do. Because I know we'll need a lot of explosives. We'll unpause this. We'll set this to be explosives. I knew we'd need that at some point. Toss that in there. And then we can also start working on getting some more storage over here. But this is all lower. And then we'll do a couple more of these large warehouses. In fact, we can do a bunch more. But once again, not essential. Okay, well some of it is lowest, some of it is lower. We'll leave that as lowest because we don't need that at all right now. Oh my goodness, so many beavers. Okay, they are filling this up. We can prioritize it by haulers. Looks like they're making good progress through some of the crops. They are probably almost filled with some of these things. We have lots of cassavas and they maxed out. Looks like they are. So we're not processing cassavas fast enough, but I think we just added one. So this guy should be... Oh, do we not have storage for fermented cassavas? 200. Okay, we have some storage. Where is that actually? Wait, do we actually have storage? $46 in the buildings that producing it, and then 200 of storage. Is it over here? Yeah, fermented cassavas. We'll make this one fermented cassavas, fermented soybeans, and then what else? I think we're fine if they even finish those. And then let's get that tree farm set up here. Let's mark all these trees. So in terms of the best area, I think we're going to do, we'll probably need a couple of irrigation zones. We'll do one right against here, so that should irrigate a lot of this. And then we'll probably need a second one over here, or maybe even closer to this area. And then we can use the space on top. Flip that around and then we can get a fluid dump. I guess we didn't really need this path right here. Or even, well, we'll leave that. That's fine. Okay, Jay Sean, how long am I going to stream for? We're almost an hour in, probably another hour. Ideally, I want to stream for like 2 hours at a time. Down the road, maybe longer, but I have stuff that I need to do today. So, because my wife and I just got a house and we're trying to fix it up before we move in, and that's in less than a month. So, the weekends are definitely times that we use for working on the house. So, but yeah, I'll probably just stream for another hour. One higher and lower should cover both. I assume you mean, was that for the irrigation zone, Sand Artist? Thanks, Sand Artist. And then we'll need to make sure we actually place the trees down. Oh, and we need to have storage areas. Yeah, having one, because unfortunately this one doesn't go up at all. But having one right here, I think that should get a good amount, and then not as essential getting a second one over here, because this guy doesn't even reach all the way over here. So let's get those stairs, and then that will greatly expand his range. And honestly, I think we should get some storage set up down here. because we can go like this. We'll place it here and here. And then we can fit some of these lumberjack flags. Now make sure we set both of these to wood. This guy is working on chopping the trees down. We have to actually plant some. We'll go all the way. Wait, can he reach? Okay, good. He can reach all the way over here. And we'll just have him plant all the trees. Because worst case scenario, we just remove some. Goes all the way to here. Yeah, we'll see how far this irrigation zone actually reaches. So let's start getting that set up. Same with those. And we're actually almost done with the drought. I've been so focused on this stuff. Looks like we have still some water here, which is good. We have 300 water left. We're doing great on food, 1.7 thousand. 20 planks, 40 gears. We still need more planks. We have 2 vacant jobs, but we have 13 children. We can probably start unpausing all these. So now we have 12 vacant jobs. Ooh, look at that. 1.5 thousand science, which means it is time to unlock the number cruncher. 1.5 thousand. Oh my gosh, so many gears. So many gears. Place that down, and then yeah, we'll just have them start working on it as they can. We can unpause this, and now we're once again so short on beavers. We'll unpause a few of these. We don't need to unpause all of them, because we do have lots of children growing up. 93, 94, 100, 100. Okay. So we're having 2 that just grew up, and then 2 more that will grow up. Well-being. I have not even touched that. Okay, see you, sand artist. Looks like you probably already hopped off, but glad that you could stop by. Jay Sean, thank you on the congrats. Yeah, we got the house last month, and it's been quite a project so far. But once we move in, it's going to slow down a little bit. We've been at the house basically every day since we got it, trying to get everything ready. 14 vacant jobs, that's a lot. But once we get this number cruncher up and running, which I'm going to bump it up a little bit, we can pause some of these. In fact, we can pause basically all these, make them lowest priority, because they won't be as essential at that point. And we do have some more mushrooms that'll be growing up soon. We do have some fermented mushrooms. And why is that just fermented soybeans? We have an area for him to store it. I guess he's just focusing on producing it. Kind of makes sense. So we'll leave. I don't know if we need to prioritize it by haulers yet. We're doing okay on planks, but I think it's worth unpausing this. Oh, we have all these jobs. We can... Let's do this. We'll make a lot of these like really low, because it's not, not imperative that we do this. And then we can start filling in some of these trees also. And look at that, we do actually have the green zone. Looks like it does not quite reach over here, which is totally fine. Let's reroute this path just a little bit. And we're going to move it a little bit closer. Okay, so many extra paths. And then we're actually going to move some of these as well. And then we'll get rid of all of this. And then high prioritize constructing these. We are out of scrap metal. We've used some of the metal blocks. Yeah, so we used all the metal blocks that we need for the number cruncher. Is just gears that we're working on right now. But seems like these guys are working. 18 vacant jobs, that's so many. But a lot of those are some of these lumberjack flags, so we can actually probably pause some of these. Then we have a lot of water pumpers, already up to 500 water after 2 days, not even, of the new wet season. And we are on cycle 6. I think that a Badtide's going to be coming soon. I don't think that they have them back to back when they first appear. So even if it is the next one, I think the one after that's going to be a drought. But either way, we're already over here, so we can start thinking about getting some dynamite placed down. We have some explosives. We have 56. That is not going to be enough. But we have lots of, well, we have a good amount of beavers, but we need more. We're going to unpause this. Both of those, so we'll have even more. And then we'll need to expand our production, probably up top over here. And then we'll be able to, we can tie this system into another one up top, and then add more engines as needed. $182 science. This is basically done. We'll just leave that normal priority, have them construct that, and then they are dumping all the gears into this. Overall, I think we're doing all right. Any blaring errors that you guys are seeing? I feel like we have most of our bases covered. Like big picture, we have enough water and enough water production, water storage. I mean, we can always have more, but I'm not too worried about it. We did run a little bit low on water during that last drought. So could be a good idea to get some more storage. What we could do is start getting it set up so that we can expand it back here. Because I do want to replace these 3 medium tanks with 2 larger ones. We can start by basically just removing these 2 and then placing down 1 big one. But that requires a lot of gears, and we don't have a lot of gears right now, so we'll hold off on that. Looks like our well-being went up. Probably the food. Having good food for all the beavers. Wood, we're doing great. Just under 600. What did I say? Did I say food? Wood, we're doing good. Just under 600. Food, we're doing good. Just under 2,000. Lots of kohlrabi. And then berries we're doing fine on. We can pause this for now. Resources. Short on planks and gears. Should probably add... Let's add another lumber mill. Toss that in right here. Bump it up because they should be able to construct that very quickly, since gears are what is limiting this. Looks like we do have our engines. Make sure they're all prioritized by haulers. And then... Oh, do we not have a path over here? Oh, it's because of this. Okay, we can bump that up to normal, because apparently they built every other platform other than this one. Ooh, we're running a little bit low on bad water. Unpause that. Oh, we are short on beavers. That is no bueno. Okay, we'll pause one of these builders' huts. And then what else? Okay, someone hopped in there. Okay, we can pause a bunch of these jobs. We don't need them right now. We can have this guy. Oh, this guy can... Okay, we'll unpause this one. And then pause this one. Looks like someone fills that role. And then we'll be able to store fermented cassavas as soon as they build this one platform. And we're getting very close. We just need a few more gears. And then we'll have that number cruncher up and running. Oh shoot. Dang it. I need to remove this because we're actually not connected in. So we'll need to add dynamite here and then blast it out. Dang it. I missed it by like half a second. We have a lot of scrap metal collectors. These guys are sitting around. Well, we'll just pause one. We'll pause the middle one. Then we'll have those other 4 farmers. They should be able to handle this. Boom, boom. Yep. Yeah, we're so close. Once we get this done, then we'll just start getting science left and right. Then we can connect this whole system together. This is still producing enough for everything. So if we connect it in, because this has 100 extra HP, we can actually pause one of these, and this system would be able to work very efficiently. In terms of well-being, oh, how are you doing on beds? 28 free beds? That is totally fine. I was thinking about trying to get some more housing over here. We could do a normal barracks. If we did some overhangs, we could get a large one. That wouldn't be bad. Let's see. We could go like this. Oh wait, not that. Double. Can we fit the overhangs? Looks like we can. And then we could do a large barracks right here. They should be able to reach all that. But this is not really needed. Yeah, we have 24 free beds, so that is... Ooh, look at that. Number cruncher up and running. Fantastic. Now let's make all these jobs lowest priority. Okay, so those 7 jobs. So 8 of those jobs, or 7 of these 9 jobs, are now inventors' huts. Then we also have some around. Yeah, we have some of these lumberjack flags that are lowest because they don't necessarily need to be filled. This guy is sitting around. That means we can unpause some of these builder sets. What are we constructing right now? Is it mainly this stuff over here? Because I know we're working on this, and then we have, you know, the new barracks. But other than that, I think that's it. We can unpause this, but then I'll pause it once they construct it. Oh, he finished all the wood. Oh my gosh, he can't reach that. This guy can. Okay, buddy, you're working in here, getting that last one. So that means that we can remove all of these. Okay, so next things to unlock. We're almost at 600 science. Then we can unlock the dynamite, place that right here, get that power shaft placed down. And then we'll need to get sluices. And I think that what we'll do, we'll place 4 across here, and then we can place levees on top, and then we'll have those sluices set to remain closed unless water level drops below, you know, a certain elevation downstream. And then we can have that set pretty high. At least just to keep the water flowing. I will want to replace these. I guess I don't necessarily need to, but I probably will. But we hit 600 science, so we can unlock the dynamite. 600. Place it down. And then we'll get another lumber mill placed down because we desperately need planks. We also need gears. And so maybe I should start preparing this area so we can do this. We'll add a lumberjack flag all the way over here and have him clear this stuff out. It's already marked, which is good news. This stuff is not marked. I don't think he can reach it. Yeah, I didn't expect him to, but that's fine. And so now that we have the number cruncher up and running, we're going to be able to start unlocking a lot of stuff. Tube station would be fantastic. And then we can place down a vertical power shaft. And then we can get another lumber mill placed down. We have 8 vacant jobs, but as we saw, most of those should be the inventors' huts or miscellaneous lumberjack flags around the colony. Including this one. We don't need this guy. So again, the sluice is here. We should probably just collect these berries while we have the opportunity. Although, how much berry storage do we have? We don't have that much storage. We could switch one of these to be berries. Oh my gosh, that's so far away. That is so far away. Unless we connect this in. Because right now, if they collect berries here, they have to go down all the way around. Oh my gosh. But if we go from here, then it's just a straight shot. The only thing is actually getting down here. You need to make sure that they can actually, basically there's a path to get over here. So we'll have to remove, let's do this. We'll remove all of that. And then we can start placing down some stairs. And then we can, I guess we should just remove that small one and those ones. So we can place down 3 gather flags right here. That way they're just in the heart of it and then can walk straight across and start storing the berries. Look at that, we have almost filled up this large water tank. They finished constructing this lumber mill. We have some gears now, which is good. Overall, it seems like we're in a good spot. We have some more trees that we're planting up here. Day 6 of cycle 6. We have lots of trees over here. Can anyone reach these trees? I don't think so, actually. Let's do this. Place down a platform. Get a lumberjack flag. This guy will chop all this stuff down. Looks like they are working over here. And then we'll make sure we connect this in. This will be much more efficient to getting over in this area, that's for sure. Yeah, look at that. So this is yellow. This is deep red. So that means it's just super far away from the district center. This will be fantastic to have this connected in. This is actually almost maxed out. And then we can unlock the sluices now, because we just passed 400 science. Can they actually reach? No, they cannot. We could do this. Oh, look at that. And then they can construct it from over here. They won't be able to access this wood. I mean, they will. Yeah. That should be okay. They'll be able to get all this constructed. So we want to have this close above downstream depth. 0.9. Let's see what this is. 0.76. I'll probably adjust this as we go on. But I'm thinking 0.85 is going to be fine. I just don't want to cause any flooding. Which it seems like it's been fine with all these dams. Normally there's some flooding when the water comes back after a drought. Oh, this guy's done. Well, this whole system is running a little bit too rich. Too many buildings working. I think that... Okay, so we have not been using a lot of metal blocks. We have some scrap metal stored up. I've waited to unpause this because we haven't quite needed it. But I know we are going to need it soon. And so we're running just a little bit short on power since I paused this. But I think that it's... Well... Oh, we don't need this. We should probably unpause this, start building up our or our metal block reserves, and then just keep that going as well. Yeah, we're going to do that. And then we're going to get some more storage. We're going to go right up top because we have the space for it. Oh, that's not what I want. Oh, I want to go up, but keep access to everything. A little bit of a pickle. I don't think that I can physically go up one without kind of going off the side. Yeah, I don't think so. Well, I didn't really think about that. That's okay. So we can add one right here. Oh wait. I might want to go in this direction. So we'll just add one right here and then one right here. Start going up. We'll finally unlock the triple platform. I have not unlocked it yet. Then we'll turn around. And then we'll make sure we have this one set to metal blocks. What should we set the rest to? We have a good amount of wood storage. I don't think we'll need more scrap metal storage. We could set this to treated planks, because that's one of the buildings that we should unlock soon. Okay, the supply was only 825 for a second. It looks like we're doing good now. How many of you guys watching have seen both episodes before this one? I've streamed it 3 different days, 2 different times, morning and evening. But I was looking at the analytics. It looks like most of you guys are on YouTube Saturdays and Sundays, kind of in the morning for Eastern time. And oh my gosh, they picked all the berries. Well, we can... Do they have access to up here? Oh, they haven't even finished it. Logs and planks. We can bump that up a little bit. We can also start placing some dynamite over here. And then we can make sure that we get a water dump down. We'll move one of the farmhouses over here. And that should allow us to have this whole area irrigated even if the water were to stop flowing. And then since we have enough gears and we're not too deep into the wet season, we're going to remove this and then we'll place down a larger water tank, get some extra capacity, set that to water, and then make sure we high prioritize it. That way we can have plenty of water stored up. Even though somehow you can just like pick up water, which is fun. And that's going to give us some good extra storage. This guy, he is chopping down trees. Oh, we actually don't have anywhere for him to really store stuff. Should probably make something so we can store stuff above the water over here. Probably need to remove this and then place down the levee. Let's do that. Bump it up, and then we'll just have to keep an eye on it. And then it looks like they've been taking some logs out of here. This is almost done. Look at that. We could actually change this so that way we have this bumped up. Wait a second. I think we'll need a sluice on the top because we'll want this to only open if the downstream depth is, if it's above a certain level, but then this is going to flood everything here, and then we'll want it to spill over the top. I guess that doesn't need to be a sluice, that could be a floodgate. That way we can manually do it. Yeah, I think we'll do that. And then I'm going to have a path going behind so we can actually get across. And then I can change all this, remove those two paths. But we still want to, I guess, utilize all this. Okay, these guys are donezo. We only have 4, now 1 vacant job. We gotta get some more jobs for these beavers. We can unpause this. What else can we do? Scrap metal we're doing okay on. We have a good amount of planks stored up. Let's start getting this area developed for getting some more production facilities. We could probably use another builder's hut. So let's place one of those down. Make sure we have enough jobs for the beavers to fill in. And then I want to flatten this out. So we'll do, I guess, platforms all along this area. Maybe first we'll place down some vertical power shafts. Or should we do it over here? That might make more sense. And then we can remove these ones. And then what building should we place right here? I think what we want to do is get the wood workshop unlocked, because it's the perfect depth that I'll be able to connect in 800 science, we have barely enough, but we have enough. And then we'll start working this way. I'll probably add in another lumber mill and gear workshop over here. That way we can have a good amount of production. And then we could start thinking about getting some bots up and running. But I think before we do that, we need to make sure we have plenty of lumber mill and... Uh-oh. They removed it. Okay, let's place that down. I prioritize that. One more plank. But they'll block this, have some water keep flowing through here. We can start unpausing some of these jobs. We'll get that berry collector collecting all this. We still only have 200 berries in terms of storage. Okay, they're putting some planks into here now. That'll be good. We have all of this. I should bump that up so we can actually construct this and then have them help construct stuff. We're doing good on explosives. 95, 195 bad water. Can they actually reach this? They can't, but once they build those platforms, they should be able to reach this. So that'll be okay. Hello, hello. Looks like we have a few new viewers. Welcome to the stream, if you haven't been here yet. This guy's sitting around, but we kind of need him too. This guy is planting trees. So many trees. Just gotta fill these small little gaps in. We have good amount of scrap metal. We will want to think about getting that constructed. The mine. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we have flooded this. Let's make sure we have that basically not closing. I think that all should flow out. It'll take a little bit. Yeah, there's gonna be some flooding. This is gonna be a fun little time for us. It'll be fine. We probably have a Badtide coming. We have 4 vacant jobs, which is good because most of them are probably these inventor sets or some of the lumberjack flags. But we should have them start, because we have this set up. We need to set up the other diversion system over here. And then we also need to start placing down the path for where the bad water is going to go. So we're going to do, how wide does it need to be? I think 3 wide would be fine. Because this channel, well, I guess it is a little bit wider than 3. We're going to start with 3 and go from there. And I'm basically going to be filling this in as I can, because I still need to be able to walk over here. We can have them walk on this side, and then they'll need to be able to reach everything. So we're going to add a little warehouse right here. Have that set to explosives, and then once they construct it, we'll have it set to obtain, and then we'll prioritize it by haulers. And then I'm going to actually remove this path and this one. Looks like the flooding is off, which is excellent. We can unpause this guy. We'll bump that up just a little bit. And then, have we gotten? Yeah, we have more berry storage now. Looks like they finished constructing this. Just a little bit short on planks. We have some. I think they're just prioritizing the other stuff to be constructed first. And then housing, we have 9 unoccupied beds. They are working on this. Can't get planks? That don't make sense. This is all lower on the priority list, so it's fine. But now we have all of this. Oh, there we go. Now we can prioritize this by haulers, which will be excellent. Because then we can have... Oh my gosh, they filled that up immediately. So now they'll fill this up. The workers will use these explosives to place down over here. And then the haulers will bring the explosives to fill this up because they can carry more. And then we got to make sure that we have enough explosives going the width of this. I think that should be okay. We'll need to start working on this. Okay, so we're gonna have to go up. Okay, only 2. That's not too bad. And then for the sluices, it's kind of a weird angle. We'll have 4. And then we'll do something like this. And we'll make sure that they can actually access all this over here. And then we can remove some of this path at the end. And then we'll make basically a big mouth that feeds in to this stream. Probably remove this one, and then make sure this goes across. And so then if needed, we can expand in this direction, or I guess we could do it with the inside also. We'd probably focus on the inside, but I'm going to stick to 3 for now. If it floods, which that would not be good, but if it does flood, then we can always widen it. Going through here is going to be a little bit of a bottleneck. Realistically, probably need to place some levees or overhangs or platforms with impervious flooring on top so we can go around here. But then it's going to be above the trees, which is not going to be good because you can see the bad water effects. It spills down, so it's going to kill all these trees unless we do something about that. And so we do have, looks like we have a wood workshop up and running now, which is fantastic. And we can store some treated planks. And then we'll use the treated planks for the for the irrigation barriers. Requires 5 treated planks and 10 logs. So that's a decent amount of resources just for one irrigation barrier. And we'll probably need to chop out some of this, which means, because like if you want to go down, more than just 1 or 2 levels, we'll have extract for triple and double dynamite. That means we'll need even more bad water. We'll need a centrifuge. So a lot of things we're going to start needing for this. We have some bad water storage. Might want to upgrade that. For now, we could probably just add some more of these smaller ones because space is not really an issue over here. We'll add all of these and then make sure we have this set to bad water. And a bad tide's approaching. Kind of expected it. Oh my gosh, they placed so many blocks of dynamite down. We'll continue working our way over here. And so we'll see how far we can go. 3. Yeah, so like I said, bottleneck right around here. What can we do about that? First we have to get a path over here that they can actually reach it. What I'm thinking is we can blast that out. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something like this. And then we can keep going over here. And then we'll also need to place a lumberjack flag so we can reach all this. We'll bump that up on the priority list, make sure this is all marked so we can actually chop it down. But yeah, we have a Badtide coming up very soon. So that means that this is now higher on the priority list, getting all the way around here. We are short on explosives now, which is not good. So now, I mean, good thing we had some stocked up. But now we can place this down, high prioritize this, and then let's prioritize this by haulers. That way they don't have to worry about going to get the resources. And then we're going to need more bad water collection as well. So we'll have a second one, bump that up on the priority list, lower those two, and then leave that one for now. Because it is going to be a bad tide, so we're going to have the bad water still flowing. So this guy's going to keep collecting bad water, which is going to be good. And so, oh man, this is going to be something else. We have 8 vacant jobs. Okay, quick resource check before Badtide messed everything up. 2.2 thousand water. That is fantastic. Just under 500 wood. That's not bad. About 2,000 food. We're doing good there. Detonate this. And now we can put a farmhouse in. Then we can also get another fluid dump. And we actually are going to high prioritize this because the water effects are not going to be quite as prominent since there's going to be some bad water mixed in there. And then in terms of resources, we have a good amount of planks, not great on gears, and then not great on explosives either, but they're working on another explosives factory. And then let's do this. We'll add, how do we want to do this? Because we have all this space over here. It'd be nice to utilize that. We can't get to it other than going up top at the moment. $1.3 thousand science is excellent. It'd be nice to get some tubes in the tube way stations. This requires metal blocks and planks. How are we doing on metal blocks? 159 in a good spot. We need to get some more planks. We'll place down 2 of those. Might end up replacing them with something else, but for now, might as well just get some more. So we're going to have a bunch of babies growing up soon also. Looks like they have placed a good amount of dynamite. This guy's chopping the trees down. Let's also focus on getting up here a different way. And then we'll just basically run along the side. And then we'll connect everything in. And we'll just keep placing dynamite down. We're gonna have to go a little bit wider than that. Oh, we're getting close. Yeah, so this is where I'm getting a little nervous, because all these trees right here. We can at least place some of that there. Realistically, we'll probably need to be up top so we can start placing down some dynamite. Oh my goodness. Have any of you guys tried to divert bad water up here like I'm doing? Looks like we have a few of you guys watching, so curious how many of you have A, played this map, and B, dealt with bad water in a similar way. This guy... Oh, we missed these two trees. I was going to place floodgates over here. There's no reason. Yeah. We're going to do this. 150 science. That is nothing. We'll do that. Worst case scenario, we replace this one also with a floodgate. But what we will eventually have is this will be a big reservoir. And then, I mean, honestly, I'll probably blast everything down. Another 2 tiles for this level and then 1 tile for the stream bed. That way we have a bigger volume of water we can store. I'll get a lot of water pumpers over here, lots of water storage. But for now, I mean, we haven't been worried about water because we have enough storing capacity. Really, it's going to be the Badtide that we're focused on. Okay, this guy is now sitting around once again. Remove that. We have a lot of buildings over here. Are we short on gears again? Dang it. We're going to do this. Remove all those. We're going to place down a gear workshop. Place down another, where is it? Explosives factory. I can find it. And then we'll place down another lumber mill. And then we'll save this. We might do another lumber mill, might do another gear workshop. Bump all those up. Everyone's hungry, probably because they're running all the way over here. But we have a Badtide approaching in 2 days. We're going to wrap up the stream after the Badtide flows through. So we'll get to see how this goes. But before we do that, let's make sure we don't have any beavers running around in the water, getting contaminated. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, we're gonna make our way through, see how we're doing. Good thing is food and water are both in a great spot. We're doing all right on resources, but we're going to change that to close above contamination 5%. And there's the bad water. So this closed. I guess for now we can just leave it open. No reason to back the bad water up. Might as well let it flow through. Whew. Oh my goodness. It's starting to inch its way in. Oh my gosh, all the trees. Oh my goodness. Thankfully we have the birch trees. Oh my gosh, 0.2 days. The birch trees along the edge there. And then same over here, we're gonna lose these ones, which is unfortunate. Oh, I didn't even irrigate any of this. We can basically look upstream and see what's happening up here and know that's what's going to happen downstream. All the showers are contaminated. Gonna lose a few crops. Not the worst thing. We have plenty of food resources at the moment. Oh, we don't really need these pumping. Are they even getting any water? Somehow they're getting some. It's starting to spread a bit. We have lots of bad water pumpers. Well, we have 2. They're getting bad water. We gotta prioritize all these by haulers. We are just a little bit short on gears. The bad water is spreading. Oh, it's gonna kill some of these ones. Yeah. Man, 'cause these trees take so long to grow. That is very sad. I mean, at least some of these were grown up because they finished growing, so. But it's like some of these ones, they're not too far along. 86% of the way there. Oh my gosh, this is going so far. Oh geez. Let's do this. We don't want the bad water backing up. So we can add in this. We'll just add floodgates. That actually helped a lot. So now we don't have the bad water backed up as much. So the effects aren't spreading in quite as much, which is good. Yeah, that was going to take out a good chunk of our trees. And that was going to be very bad. And the water's back. Thank goodness. Had a couple trees die over here. We had quite a few. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we lost quite a few trees over here. So we might as well mark these ones to be chopped down now, since they're not producing pine resin. Then we'll leave these all as birch, because clearly, you know, they were susceptible. We can unplant these ones. So yeah, we don't really want to waste our time if we don't get this up and running before. But we do need to make sure we have, you know, some treated planks that we can use for the irrigation barriers above. Okay, that was only a little stressful, but thankfully it was a short bad tide, so it showed us what is going to be coming unless we fix this. Then we can also unpause all these water pumpers now. Whew. Boy, we made it through. Minimal casualties. And this colony is progressing very quickly. And that's where we're going to wrap up today's live stream. We just hit the 2-hour mark. So thank you for everyone who joined. Thank you for those who participated in the chat. I really like interacting with you guys. So I'll see you in the next live stream most likely, because that has been what I've had time to do, is live streaming. And it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. So, thank you everyone for joining.